Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I just have been running around all morning and I just came in from walking my dog. It's just absolutely gorgeous outside.
Yeah, it's beautiful up here. We just poked my head out, came back in. It's beautiful.
I know we need to be outside,
So,
not inside on days like today.
yeah, especially when the weather hasn't been the most cooperative.
Yeah, and sometimes we sit here and we talk about the snow and how cold it is outside and
Yeah, yeah. And when it's blistering hot this summer, we'll still be talking about the cold.
yes, yes, yeah.
So,
So
but
I just realized that I didn't answer your email about your friend who wrote the book that we recommend on the colleges, and I did read his article. And you asked, should we have him here to talk to us? And we absolutely should, and we should do that next call if he's agreeable.
okay.
Don't
I
you
should have
think?
asked him. I talked to him yesterday. I should have asked him.
Yeah, because I think that especially this time of the season where students are looking at schools.
Yeah, for those that are still looking, and for those that are still looking, and those that are starting to really start looking, Peter is a very strong proponent of small and medium-sized schools, schools that are less than 1,000 in some cases that have great offerings, but people are afraid of them because their grad rates are low, which I'm from time to one of those people. So he's got me convinced to at least drop my target down to 40%. Um, and be
What do you
conscious of the
mean drop
fact
your
that
target to 40%? Explain that.
when I run a list of schools and try to prepare a list of schools for students, I use 50% or better graduation rate.
Oh, I see. And just in the
Okay.
graduation rate. Okay.
In that category. I'll run a massive list and then
Do you do a 4 year rate?
I use the iPad, which is what feeds the system I use, College Navigator, and I have to be somewhat uh, I guess I have to be less of a doubting Thomas to consider what they use. I don't know if they're using 4, 5, or 6 because it's of different of opinions, but at least it's a benchmark. Because then if you have to really find out, you got to go into each school's college common data set. And
Right,
that's a very time consuming process unless you want to pay for that information from somebody.
right.
So at a minimum, it gives you a number. So he's a very strong proponent of schools that are smaller that have lower rates that are still good.
I want to show you something
So,
I did. I'm sure you've done this as well, but there were 8 schools that were in my area. So I went to go, they did a thing, and they're the small ones. And some of these schools I hadn't heard of. Some of them I have, and I have actually toured, but some of them I had never heard of. But I was really excited to hear about Kenyon
Kenyon
in
College,
Ohio because I have a student this year who really wants to do pre-med, and Kenyon for the last, I think, 4 years, they said, has had 100% acceptance into med school for their graduates who were pre-med. So they're doing a really good job over there with getting students familiar with the information they need to pass the MCAT. And I've always loved Colorado College. I think it's really interesting how they do that block schedule. And as a student, I would have loved that. I think it would have been really fun to hone in on a subject. And then every month they get a 4.5 day weekend because that's when the block ends. So
which
going to
is like an
college and
adult.
having a 4.5 day weekend in Colorado, I just don't know how it could get any better than that.
It's a great way to adjust yourself to life in the adult world if you're going to work on that kind of a schedule. Law enforcement, nursing, healthcare, where you're working 4 days on, 3 days off. It's a different
Yeah.
way of teaching adulting skills. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in the store the other day with my wife and the kid checking us out. He says, I'm going to Centre College in Kentucky on a practically free ride. And I'm thinking to
Good for
myself,
him.
where's that school? I got to put them on my list and
Yeah.
check
Good
them
for
out.
him.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's these colleges that will change your life. The ones that aren't as as I always talk about, the ones that aren't in US News and Report, or some of the self-fulfilling prophecy articles like Peter's writing against. Um,
Right. I thought
Not
that was an
against, but
interesting premise.
awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yes, we all want to make some money. We all want to generate revenue so we can take vacation and pay our bills. But what's the end game for some of these consultants, people who go to TED and talk on TED Talk, lenders, quasi-state agencies? So we have to look at everything with a grain of salt from the standpoint of marketing. And what's the end game? Peter says he doesn't work with students as much. He wants to write books and write articles. And I said, well, we need someone to keep our compass focused to the north. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was
Well,
funny. So
I'd
I will
love,
ask him.
yeah,
I'll
I'd love
ask
to
him.
have him on. So next week I'm going on a 5-day, 10 college tour in the South.
Wow,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Write some notes.
I'm going to. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if I should say this out loud, but I'm turning it into a fun personal project for myself, just to entertain myself. Because I want to go see the colleges, but I want to show them in ways that are different from, I just want to show them in ways that are different. So I'm taking my camera, and because you know my background, I was a
Mhm.
wedding and portrait photographer for 10 years. I'm only taking black and white photos, and I want to show sides of this campus that nobody has seen before. That's my goal. Now, can I achieve that? I don't know. I don't
Are
know.
you announcing your arrival?
Oh, I'm going. It's like a tour. So
Oh, okay.
it's not. It's the SACAC, the Southern Association of College Admissions Counselors. I'm not a member, but they opened it up and they let me sign up. And we landed in Memphis. And our first night, we're staying because some of the schools were staying in the dorms. And so that first night at Rhodes College, I think I'm staying on campus in the dorm. And yeah, should I read to you the colleges I'm going to?
Sure.
So we start at Rhodes and then Lemoyne-Owen College, which I've never been to, University of Memphis, University of Mississippi, Mississippi State, Philander Smith, which I've never been
Never
to,
heard of
don't know much
them.
about, Central Arkansas, Hendrix,
Hendricks I've heard of.
University of the Ozarks, and then
Yeah,
University of Arkansas.
sweet.
So
That'll
they're
be
all
good.
schools that I don't know a whole lot about, and I want to try to show a side of them that nobody else has seen either.
So what are you going to do? Go down into the basement of the buildings? Are you going to?
I don't know
You're not
how
going to
I'm
be
going.
like you're not going to be like those people in New York City that are crawling into manholes.
No, no, that's kind of not my style. I could spectacularly fail at the personal project side of this, but I have to do very well on the absorbing the information that I hear from the colleges, because these colleges that I went to last week to their presentation, I just was so blown away by the things that they told me. And I'm excited to get that same experience. And so the photo part is kind of secondary, but I know it's going to happen because it happens when I just walk through the world. I'm like, oh, if only I had my camera.
Mm. Yeah, but the iPhone has eliminated some of that desire to carry the equipment or bring the equipment. So
Well,
you have to force yourself.
it's the iPhone's great. There's no single camera lens combo that will excel in every situation that you're going to be in when you want to take a photo. There's just isn't one. It's photography is all about trade-offs. If you want this, you got to give up here. If you want this, you got to give up here or here. You have three hands in photography. There's three places you can give and take from. But the iPhone is great, but it's intrusive. Everybody has one. I find when I show up with my actual camera that just doesn't make any noise, it's small, it's quiet, it's really unobtrusive. And I'm really good at shooting from the hip. Like if I'm wearing a camera, Oh, wait, put it so it goes in focus. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I need to see the lens on that. That's a Pentax, right? I used to have a Pentax that was film.
It's a 1855
Okay. Okay.
feet. That's meters. So I have an old telephoto. It's a little wonky, but I carry that in one pocket and I switch it if I need to. And yeah, it's just a matter of bringing it with you when you go places and using it.
Yeah.
So all of your students ready to immerse themselves in September?
I'm still onboarding the first round. I have two students who are leaving the country for the summer. So I'm really trying to get them spun up and working on free writing for essays. They got to get all their other stuff to me before we,
What, they're rising seniors?
yeah, before we transition
Oh,
to essays.
oh, okay.
And everybody else is still scrambling to get there. Once their student activity sheet is really good, then we can move on into essays. But
Right.
I gotta
Right.
have that done.
Gotta have their resume done so they can go out and market themselves
And
and
we know
also
what
get
to
ready to
write
do their
about.
Common App.
Yeah. And we know what to write
Yeah,
about. And yeah.
right.
So how's it going
Well,
for
that's
you?
even good. And I actually have one family of a rising college student who I don't know the true story behind it, but the parents are contacting me looking to have a conversation because the student is not doing what he's supposed to be doing to register for classes and deal with everything that's part of the transitional side.
Is it a
And
male student?
they're they're fit to be tied because they're panicked. And part of it is they're hoping he's going to do everything, or at least that's what reading between the lines. And that's not necessarily good. The parents need to follow up and basically use the checklist to make things get done. But I'm looking forward to talking to them because I'm trying to keep their compass focused and then eventually talk to the kid. He was choosing between two schools, finally made his choice. He's very deliberate in the way he looks at things and analyzes things almost to the point of nausea. So that's probably some of it. And the other part of it is he probably just wants to chill for a little while.
And
But
there's one other part that Jamie taught us when we had her on a few weeks ago, where she said that especially the young men, it's not that they are lazy, it's that they don't really know exactly what they're supposed to do or how to do it. And so rather than do something wrong, they just don't do.
right,
So that could
right.
be it too.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I stop all of my advising once they say they're ready and they've checked and I've given them their checklist of things to be doing. Get your insurance, sign up for orientation, take care of your federal loan. I don't dwell on the emotional and the part of it. And so I'm learning maybe that's something to double check with everybody too. But, and then add to it the poor child's girlfriend, they broke up. So, that,
Haven't I heard you
that
say
adds
that
to
that's
it.
better?
Yeah. I probably mentioned that previously.
And Maya mentioned it too when we talked to her.
Yeah, come on. They're the love of your life, but it's worse when you're both going to the same school. That is an ultimate problem as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, stay friends, but open up the door. So I'm anxious to talk to him, but otherwise, my seniors going off to college, except for a couple parents who are trying to figure out how to finish their payment process, they're fine. So now I'm turning to like you are, to the juniors that are coming along. And I've got a pretty good group of varying individuals. I don't, I think I have two that are qualified and hopefully they might apply and get into an IV or highly selective. But as I was telling Peter the other day, most of mine are not in that category. I love the others.
I do too. Yeah, I do too.
The hopeless ones, the ones that are solid, the ones that are procrastinators. I have one student, I text him almost every other day. I call him my procrastinator. And I start out my text, hey, procrastinator, what's going on? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? So that's the joy. But yeah,
I have a mix of both. of the juniors this year.
So for your rising seniors, are you laying out some activities for the summer for them to be doing?
When I look at their activity list, I talk with them about what are you doing this summer that where you can go deeper, not necessarily find another activity. A lot of them are still in that mindset where they think they need 20 activities instead of,
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about that type of stuff, but yes, they need to be doing some volunteering, get a job, and volunteering can be paid or not, of course. I'm just talking about keeping up with doing their Common App, keeping up with doing their essay, keeping
oh
up with
yeah,
all
I
that stuff.
have
Are
a
you
yeah, I have it's like my 10 steps and I divide them in half because the first five are like leading up to the application and then the second half is all the essays. I try to have everything done logistically by July 4th. July 4th we start on Common App and then August we start on the supplementals because sometimes they change.
yeah, it's hard to get them. You can't get them before August 1st until the rollover. And even some schools I find are waiting longer and longer to put their information in,
Yeah.
uh, which is
And
very irritating.
and then as my students right now, as they're building their lists, and then I have toward the end of that process, some of my steps have more than one step. So toward the end of that process, when they do the sanity check, I want them looking at the history, mission, value, and strategic plan for each school, especially their top five, because that becomes the basis for their YSSA and for them to be looking at that when they go tour the school.
Good. That's good information for families that are listening.
Yes.
Capturing all that information when they're on tours or they're doing virtual meetings, taking notes, essential. Because as you
And
said, that helps them write their responses to those supplemental questions.
and then right now they're also writing their why major essay, at least the brain dump of it. Why do you want to study this? Why are you thinking in this direction? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Quite a few kids, I have quite a few kids that are undecided, so they're not going to be able to do that right away. They have some ideas, but they're also foggy on those exact ideas.
Yeah.
And their parents are worried. And this thing called AI is making them worry even more. What's my job when I'm done in 5 years? If you have that crystal ball, start selling it because things are going to change. So find something you love and stay with it.
Yeah, and it's hard because one of my students isn't sure. He's pretty sure he wants a business school, but he doesn't know if he likes accounting or finance. And he's never had an econ class. And so it's hard. It's hard that we're making them choose when they haven't really had the courses that they need in order to decide whether or not they want to dig deeper.
Right. That individual can potentially switch when he's in. Okay.
Right.
Or go liberal arts. Go liberal arts and experiment. Some of the best medical professionals that went liberal arts are, you know, or a
Mm-hmm.
communication major.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, I think we do an injustice by pushing the kids to pick, as I've always said, pick those majors right away. Make sure you have a balance. If you want to be a finance major, make sure the school's got psych. If you want to be an engineer, make sure the school's got nursing.
Communications.
Although you can't switch to that. Communications. Yeah. How many financial planners do you know, or individuals selling life insurance, or individuals doing consulting started out in engineering? And after 20 or 30 years, they decided this is enough. I'm going into something else. They have the brains and the skills and the knowledge to do the others. So why can't that start a little earlier?
Yeah, I know there's a guy in one of my networking circles who has exactly that background. His degree's in engineering. He was a Navy pilot for a while, and now he's financial advisor.
Good. So what else is going on? I think we've got an open door here.
Yeah, I think the big thing is if I really want students and parents to add these smaller schools, at least one or two to their list, look at them, research them, find out why they would be a good fit, and have different schools, have different kinds of schools on your list, and let's talk about that. Let's get
Yeah,
your author friend in here.
talk to Peter and see if we can get him in the next couple of months. Did you look at the Forbes report that came out, the Forbes financial report that came out, where they rated and graded schools A through D?
He talked about that, didn't he, in his article?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
I didn't do a
So,
deep dive into it, but he had a really good argument about where it was flawed.
yeah, some of the best schools on the list are the ones that are struggling the most financially.
And
So,
the ones that have the endowments that statistically will keep them strong were not highly rated.
no, no. That's because it's a rating system. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy for those that are promoting whatever they're writing it on.
Yeah, it was a great
It,
article.
yeah, yeah. He's posting it either today or tomorrow on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay, okay.
If you can see it or find it, like it, comment, share it.
Yeah, I will. I'll
Um,
find it. And I want to just let students and parents know you're going to start getting these letters from schools like Yale saying, "Hey, we're looking at you. You should apply to our school. Here's what we have for you." It's an advertisement. It's not a personal invitation because you have a leg up on an application to their school. It's an advertisement because they have to keep their numbers of students applying really high for the number of seats that are limited, and they're not going to increase in order to keep their enrollment percentage low so that they can be highly selective.
how do they acquire those individuals?
We talked about that last time, didn't we?
You
they're
want to
getting
bite
it.
at that apple?
They're getting it. The one that I saw from Yale that my student got, they actually admitted we saw from your.
So
So
that's nice. At least they're admitting that you were referred to us or we purchased your information. And that's why you're getting the dating letter. We love you. We want you. Apply to us. It doesn't say anything about risk. It doesn't say anything about average acceptance rates and average
or fit
population. Hmm?
or fit
Right,
financial, academic, or
right.
social fit.
But that sparks the process. So, yeah. And then admittedly, it's big business. It's not going to go away.
If it
But the
didn't
same
work,
can be
they wouldn't
said.
keep doing it.
Sure. And the same to be said if you go out to a scholarship search engine, they too are selling the information. So it's marketing and lead generation, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you just have to look at it with a grain of salt.
But
Why am I hearing from them?
there's a big dopamine hit, I can only imagine, when you get a letter with your name on it from Yale.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But see, students take it into your guidance department and ask them, what's the percentage of me getting in? What's the predicted modeling that colleges pay millions of dollars to try to use? So take that letter into your guidance counselor with a smile on your face and say, wow, Yale wants me. What's my chances?
And then you have to do the math in reverse. Because if you have a 3% chance of getting in, that doesn't mean that every student has a 3% chance of getting in because you don't know what their institutional priorities are, and they're probably not going to tell you. So you need to do the math on the 97% chance of not getting in. So if you have a 97% chance of not getting in, and you add more of those types of schools to increase your chances of getting into one of them, the math doesn't work in that direction. That's not how it goes.
And then add the financial math to the question because those schools are
$75 a pop.
yeah, that's your application budget. I ask all my students to ask their parents, what's my application budget? How many applications that cost $60 to $90 can we afford? Okay. But then the financial question about purchasing the education has to come in.
Right.
My other big thing,
So
okay?
that's step
If you're part
three.
of that 3%, if you're part of that 3%, what percentage of that group is getting any type of merit aid and need-based aid? So that 3% now becomes 1% they can pay full because they have the economics, 1% because they may be low income on the bottom scale, and that leaves 1%
Institutional.
for the middle income individual who has two incomes, making $200,000 a year, but doesn't have the buying power to pay. So you take three down to one.
Yep. Yep. Those are really important numbers for students and parents to have.
Yeah, that's the reality check.
Yeah. And
That's an
so
audit. That's an
the,
audit.
the end of step three for my students is they have to schedule a 1 hour conversation with their parents all about finances. And I give them a checklist and they have to come back to me. They have to fill out the form and show me that they discussed every bullet on that sheet with their parents so that everybody's on the same page about how we're doing this.
That's good. That's good. I'd like to see that.
Sure, I'll send it to you.
Share that with me.
Yeah.
That's
And
very
I make
nice.
them,
That's
I
a
make
good
them,
exercise.
and then I also, and I'm doing it early. It's step three because I want that out of the way before we've already fallen in love and invested all this time and effort in the schools and the essays.
I might steal that from you.
Yeah, you're welcome to.
I would do that step two, never mind three.
Well,
That's step one, and one has two parts to it. The readiness to get in and the ability to pay. So let's get this conversation going early.
okay, why did I not put it in step one? Because step one is just, I let them dream a little bit on their list. And then they have to focus their list, and then they have to sanity check their list, and then they have to go through the affordability. So I think you've got a really good point that I could probably flip step two and step three. I could maybe do the affordability part.
No, that's if you're meeting with them in the same month or within 2 months of a consecutive basis, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Let them
I want to give
dream a
them
little.
I want to give them a little bit of room to dream and have fun and
Let
find a
them dream a
reach.
little before you reality check them too hard.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the reality check too hard guy. But so no, that's good. That's a very good exercise.
Yeah, actually, I'll print it out as a PDF and I'll put it in the bottom of the post so people can have it. But also
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
send it to you. Yeah.
yeah. And if anybody's trying to figure out how to do that assessment, funding assessment, you know that I'm available to help people do that from the standpoint of running your numbers today. If you were applying for aid, finding out what your student aid index is and going out and be able to use that when you're on tour too, when you're talking to admissions.
Mm. Yeah. I should probably let people know that the people that I'm going to meet on this tour. Maybe I'll take your book. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not in there yet. We're going to put that in the next version. But yeah, there's more and more, there's more and more being talked about the fact that we're purchasing education. It's more than just, I see financial planners are getting involved a little bit more. It's more than just the 529 and the investment. Because it comes down to, as I've always said, it comes down to not how much buying power you have personally, but what's the student like and what's the school. The three are the major components.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And schools are not going to come out with that information. Colleges are not going to come out with that information, especially now, especially here in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, where the demographics are changing drastically. We're going to see more closures of schools, more mergers, more big schools buying schools. Northeastern just purchased a school in New York or finalized the purchase. So they now have Northeastern New York City campus. There's going to be more of that going on. So no different than the airlines and the hotel industry. Yeah. Oh, I'd like to look at that list.
Okay. You might request that I make some changes to it. So we'll see. Maybe I'll let you look at the digital version of it in case we have to make some changes.
If you're open, I'll share.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, I will let you know how my tour goes.
Yeah, that should be the
And
focus of the next conversation, and then we'll get Peter involved as quick as he can get be involved. Okay, good.
okay,
I will talk
well,
to you soon.
yeah, thanks for coming. Bye.